Good morning,
Good
Joe.
morning, Colleen.
How are you?
Doing all right? Doing all right. How are you?
Well, I lost my favorite lipstick, so I'm a little sad about that. But these are some real first world problems.
Yeah. Didn't see that coming. I'll tell you that much.
I mean,
Didn't see that
I'm
coming.
here. I'm here for the vibes.
I'm glad that you
Um,
can still make it to the podcast recording.
Barely, but I am here.
Wait, before we move on from that, is this one that you like can't buy anymore and it was the last one ever? Or is this
No,
just you can just go get a new one?
yeah, I can just go get a
Oh,
new
okay.
one. It'll
That's not
it'll
bad.
be all right.
Because I
It's not
do feel
bad.
like every single cosmetic or self-care thing that I buy, I use it religiously for like 6 years and then it just leaves the shelves and I just stop using that forever. I
Yeah,
just stopped using that type of product forever.
that
It's like, well,
yeah.
now I just don't moisturize my face anymore because my face moisturizer is not being made instead of finding a new one. So I'm
Oh
glad you can
man.
still buy a new one.
Yes, I will. I will. I will
You'll
survive.
survive. You'll survive. Outside of the lipstick fiasco, how's your work week going?
Okay, so what's interesting? I have so many
Hmm.
things I want to say about this. I
Yeah.
feel like I'm moving very slowly, but then if I listen to our podcast,
Hmm.
I realize 100 million things are happening. Like that things are actually changing so quickly for me week to week, which is amazing. And it's actually really good to have this as an artifact so I can go back and look and be like, oh, I had 3 calls and I did this and I did that. So things are good. So 2 weeks ago, I had those 3 calls with people in 3 different industries. This week, I did a lot of networking events. And by this
Hmm.
week, I mean last week, because today's,
Uh-huh.
I did a lot of networking events, which was great. I want to tell you about this meetup I went to.
Okay. Yeah, please.
Do you go to meetups?
Not as often as I like. The Ruby scene in Portland is not great anymore. We've
Okay.
like lost funding and the people who did the hosting kind of got out of the game. So there's a little bit like up in Seattle, but it's just hard to get to Seattle for like a Thursday night, you know?
Yeah.
So I try to go to anything that is in Portland, but like I'm going to like one thing a quarter at this
Oh,
point,
okay.
which kind of blows.
So when I moved to San Diego, that was 5 years ago now, I joined
Mm-hmm.
Indie Hackers.
Hmm.
And there have never been more than 10 people at an indie hacker meetup. And then there's been some new people like that moved to San Diego that have tried to get some new groups going. So I have tried to go to a lot of different meetups. I would say I have never been to a meetup in San Diego with more than maybe 12 people in the tech space, because those are the
Uh-huh.
ones I go to. So I saw that there was a Claude Code meetup.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, I should go to this because one of the things I am staking my stick in the ground on, whatever that phrase is that like in person to get good consulting engagements, you're going to have a higher leverage going in person. People are
Yeah.
much, much more likely to trust you if they can meet you and you're not just some
Mm-hmm.
faceless LinkedIn person.
Agreed.
But the meetup was full.
Huh.
According to Luma or whatever we're using these days. And that never, like, I've seen that before. So I'm like, that's just a lie, whatever. But because it was full, I had to get on the wait list. And then I wanted to go. So when the organizer sent something out saying, hey, I need a couple people to present, I volunteered because I knew if I present, then I
Yeah, there
obviously
you go.
get to go, right?
There you go.
But expecting approximately 12 people at this meetup, I didn't prepare anything. Like, I was like, okay, we're just going to YOLO this.
Yeah, sure.
Joe, I showed up to this meetup. There must have been 80 people there. I have
Really?
never, yes,
Whoa.
I have never seen anything like it before. It was
Wow.
insane.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
80 people at like and
at a
this is
meetup.
not a sponsored event. It's just like,
I don't
hey,
think it
let's
should.
get together and talk about
So
Claude.
I feel like Anthropic might sponsor these or
Mm,
something because it was
yeah.
just like Claude Code. No, it wasn't even Claude Code. It was just like Claude. I could look up
Hmm.
what it was exactly
Yeah.
called. It was like the Claude meetup. So I didn't think it was like a thing. And it was,
Yeah.
I mean, standing room only, nowhere to sit. Like, it was crazy. It
That's
was
wild.
just so unexpected. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
wild.
I
So,
just looked. I just Googled Claude Code Meetup Portland, and there was one in February, also a 4-hour event,
okay.
and it looked like a ton of people went. on
Yeah, so
Luma as
you
well.
need to get on whatever okay, Claude Community,
Seriously,
that's what it's called. Claude Community. You need
Claude
to
community,
get on it and see if it's as crazy as your city because it was nuts.
Claude
Um,
community. Wow. Oh my god, I have to like use a TUI in the website. What?
I don't know.
All right, that'll be a thing for after the show.
Yeah, you should figure that
Cool.
out.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
So
it was
80 people.
cool.
You didn't prepare at all. You thought it was gonna be 12.
So
What'd you do?
so the energy was great. Like,
Hmm.
so I just, I winged it. It did. The
Screen
live
shared and
demo didn't work. No one cared, right? Like
yeah,
people are just there for the
yeah,
vibes. They just want to
yeah.
see, it was just like, it was like I mean, like I get up on their little stage, which isn't really a stage, but like people are just excited. People are just cheering for no reason. It was like half rock concert, half meetup. Like I don't know what
Oh my
was
god.
happening. It was energy. Like I have been searching out
Yeah.
that kind of energy here
Mhm.
locally in San Diego because I want to be around people who are excited. This is
Mhm.
just part of my personality. Like if we work together, I want us to be friends. I want to be around people who are excited about AI, who are excited about whatever they're doing, and it was really cool.
Nice. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I mean, I wish I had prepared my presentation a little
Yeah.
better because I
Yeah.
had no idea, but still I it didn't the presentation itself wasn't I didn't nail it, but it
Yeah.
was fine. People were excited. Yeah, it was just
Okay.
this really really cool experience.
And did you end up talking to anyone after the presentation or like make
Yes.
some networking connections out of it? Like how did
Tons.
the business trade-off go?
I think it's such a long game. Like no one was like, "Oh, I need you to build AI in my business right now."
Sure.
But
Yeah.
it was really interesting because there were a lot of people there from different industries. And it was really, really interesting seeing how people are not developers, not even really like tech people who are
Mhm.
building things with AI for their business. Like one of the guys owns a winery. He owns a winery.
Mhm.
And he was showing us how he didn't even use Claude code. He like with Claude on your desktop or whatever,
Yeah.
like made a sales system for them because his sales reps used
Whoa.
to be out selling wine and they would have to actually call him, be like, how many cases do we have of this? How many cases do we have of this? So he like built a little inventory system.
That's awesome.
I
That's really
know.
cool. Like
I
a
was like, this is
non-technical
so
person,
cool.
not writing code, just using AI stuff. Like that's the type of stuff that like you want to build that for them, you know?
Exactly.
How do you get in there
Exactly.
and do that for them?
Do that for them, right? Because it's still really clunky, right? But he was like, it's
Mhm.
so much
Mhm.
better than them having to call me on the phone. I was
Mhm.
like, yeah, it
Mhm.
is.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so it was just really cool. Another guy built something for like building permits. Again,
Huh.
non-technical guy. He was a lawyer. He's a injury lawyer. Has a
Wow.
friend that's in construction, so they built like a building permit, like helping push building permits through.
Wild.
It was cool. It was great. So
That's really cool.
that was a
So
highlight.
yeah, a mix of technical folk, not technical folk, people that are building it, people that are excited, and you up on stage talking about your workflows.
Hmm. Yeah,
That's great. I
yeah.
love
So it
that
was great.
you put in the effort to put a presentation together, even if it was low effort.
Not my best. It was low effort.
I just the fact that like you can just ask to present, you know? Like you were like, well, I can't get in, so I might as well like put in the effort to get in and how much it invigorated you. I would love for you to just message them next time, be like, look, I didn't really put my best face on for this and it wasn't the best. Like, can I have another shot at it? And just
Yeah,
like present again and really go in there with even if it was total self promotion, like, here's what I'm building for clients. Here's all the cool things that I'm building. And it's
yeah,
actually a pitch for them to hire you. But what you're
yeah,
presenting it as is this is all the cool shit that I'm doing with AI.
yeah.
And as like an inspirational talk, you know?
Right.
And at the end, it's obviously like, oh, and if you want me to do this for you, like, come talk to me after. But it's just like all about like energy, and like cool
Yeah,
stuff. Could go a long way with just how you're feeling about this, and also what the vibe is, without being like, come, come buy my stuff.
yeah, yeah.
I gotta find the local Portland Claude meetup now.
You should. Yeah, you
Is it
should
every
check it
month
out.
for you? in San
I
Diego?
have no idea. This is the first one. I don't even remember how I found out about it, but this is the first one I've been to, so I have no
Very
idea.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
Anthropic, I feel like, is doing really well with the community stuff.
Mhm.
Between
Yes.
their developers on X, posting about all of the stuff that's, making it into Claude Code. I think they now finally have an official X account, which is wild that it's taken this long. And like I find out about all of the updates to Claude through, I think, Boris, like almost
Yeah.
single-handedly through Boris.
Yeah.
And he does great stuff with his posts and everything. I wonder how much help he's getting. But either way, like it feels like a ride along. It feels like
Mhm.
they're
Yeah.
building in public because they are, but it's also just so much is behind it that it feels like you kind of have like a peek under the covers of what's actually being built. And I don't use an eighth of the stuff that gets put out there, but it is cool to see like why they made certain decisions on things.
Yeah.
They're doing a good job
Yep. So, yeah, what
in
else?
person.
In-person stuff, right. I did tons of in-person stuff last week, which I really enjoyed. Had some
Hmm.
lunch with some founders, which I really enjoyed. And, it's interesting because, like, my bar now for idea evaluation is so high.
Yeah,
Like the kind of having already done this a few times, like the kind of business I want to build is so incredibly specific,
yeah,
which generally
yeah.
means I think everyone's ideas are bad. Which is
That's fine.
terrible, but also like
That's fine.
I'm such a big believer. So like, I've been building this MCP server for one of my clients,
Hmm.
customers, clients.
Clients.
Um, and it's pretty awesome. Like it reads and writes to your Google
Hmm.
Ads,
Hmm.
but I have no intention of productizing it because I just think the future of business is you have to own the data layer. Like being a wrapper,
Mm,
an API wrapper, you're just going to get destroyed. So I'm big on like owning the
yeah.
data layer when I look at business ideas. Anyway,
Interesting.
this is,
No,
yeah.
I feel
Go
like
ahead.
Ruby Native is a glorified wrapper
Hmm.
in a lot of ways. Like it is
Yeah.
taking something that is difficult and wrapping it in a nice GUI, but also like wrapping the code in a way that you never have to look at it. And I feel like I'm building Ruby Native right after it would be most effective or right before it is going to be most effective.
What do you
And I'm
mean?
hoping I feel my big worry with Ruby Native is exactly what you said. It is just a wrapper. And folks
Hmm.
could just build it all out themselves with AI. And yeah, maybe it'll take them 10 times as long and it'll be a quarter of as effective. But I worry that people have that impression now that they could just do it
They just do
themselves.
it themselves.
And I'm just offering like one more dev tool for folks to not subscribe to. And the other side of my brain is like, actually, this is the perfect time to do it because there are all of these AI enhancements and tools and stuff. Folks can like stay in their comfort zone of building Rails and just like, oh, iOS is taken care of, Android in the future is taken care of, and building Ruby Native up to be more of like an agent that sits in
Hmm.
between your Rails code and less about like a workflow that you go to a website and click buttons. Um, what inspired this was that linear article that's been floating around that, yeah,
Yeah. The
it was like,
uh, what
issue
did it
tracking is
say?
dead.
Is dead. Issue tracking is dead. That's it. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's a really cool angle, and I get what they're going. Like that, and Linear is trying to just be like essentially an agent that sits between you and your work, right? Like it's not.
Hmm.
Maybe the issue tracking is different, but is there an opportunity for it to do like a mobile apps are dead, and then kind of follow that same thing where it's like actually it's just Ruby Native as an agent sitting in
As an
between
agent.
there.
Hmm.
And I have some notes on this, but it also just feels a little too clickbaity still for me of an article.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, sorry, that's a long rambling way of saying that are API wrappers step one in the AI process, or are they the final frontier? And
Yeah.
you're saying that they're just the step one and they're going to be destroyed. And I think that you're right.
Yeah. And side note on the Ruby Native thing, I
Uh,
think Ruby Native works for you whether it becomes a big product or not, because it functions as lead gen in your bigger business, right? How we've talked about you wanting to have an offer at every price point for people to be able to pay you. So
Yeah.
I think for you, now if
Mhm.
you tell me tomorrow you're going to quit all consulting and go and raise $10 million for Ruby Native, I would say I don't think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
So, right? I think it depends on the kind of business you're trying to build.
Yeah, totally. Totally. Um, on that note, I applied for the Ruby, like, not scholarship, but hold on, let me get the right name here. The Ruby Runway. Have you heard of that?
The Ruby Runway? No.
Yeah, Ruby Runway. So at RubyConf this year, they're doing a pitch, where you can
Oh
pitch
yeah,
your
the pitch
product,
competition. Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
pitch competition, and they're giving
Yeah,
out
yeah.
like tens of thousands of dollars distributed over a couple of winners. And like I saw the email like come in that was like, oh, there's like 48 hours left to apply, and I was like, you know what, let's go for it. So I created a slide
Yeah.
deck. I created a 2-pager PDF on Ruby Native, essentially saying like, I have the distribution. I just need some funding to go more all in on it to build Android to get like feature parity. I was like, my
Yeah.
exact need is I need money to get to conferences, and I need money to build Android.
Yeah.
And it's the first time I've ever asked for money for something. And at best case, it's going to be like, I think 10 grand. Best
Okay.
case. So it's
Okay.
it's still it's not raising in any way,
Yeah.
but it does give me like maybe another month to figure out Ruby Native, or oh, I could actually put these 10 grand towards a Mac Mini to like do the
Yeah.
builds locally instead of having to rely on GitHub Actions. And it made me really think about like the longevity of Ruby Native, because I had to write out like a business plan and then like what my model is for acquiring customers and stuff. So even if nothing happens from it, it was a good exercise in just like, is this a viable business or is this just a side project? And I think right now it's a side project, but I think that there is opportunity for this to be a big pillar in the upcoming years for me, which is really cool.
Okay. Tell me more about that. I want to hear more about that.
Yeah. So it goes a little bit into what you said of I want to offer something at every price point. And this is the $2.99 a year, $9.99 a year. It's like absolutely nothing for a quote real business, but a big investment for a solo founder, right?
Right.
At this, and I think that that's okay. Like that's actually where I want to be, where I have many individuals or like a few businesses doing the like higher tier stuff. Why I think it has longevity as this like product moving forward is the type of reception that I'm seeing. And what I mean by that is not post something on Reddit and get comments of, oh, this is cool. Like, oh, can't wait to try it. It's like I post something either to my newsletter or on socials, and I see people signing up for the free account within like minutes,
Okay.
and people trying it within
Yeah.
like hours. And I still
Okay.
haven't figured out if the conversion from free to paid is like a big gap, or I'm missing something there, but I'm seeing this type of interest in what people know is a paid tool, like within a very short time period of like talking about it. And it
Okay.
feels like this is a perfect opportunity to start A, talking about it more, obviously, but
Mm-hmm.
B, like paid advertising
Mm-hmm.
it feels like a really good opportunity for it. And I haven't proven that that a lot of folks will want to pay for it yet. That is still something I'm figuring out.
Yeah.
But folks are definitely excited enough that they will sign up for an account, verify their email address, uh, either have or create an Apple developer account, which is 99 bucks a year, external of
Yeah.
me, and then go in there back into Ruby Native and like wire up their API key.
Okay.
And that's an hour of work for some folks
Right.
that have never dealt with App Store Connect before.
Right.
And if folks are doing all of that, I feel like there's a lot of intention
Yeah.
to get this thing working. And this is the first time I've seen that with a paid product that wasn't like, oh, just like pay whatever and like get one thing and that's the end of it, like a one-time purchase or my book or whatever. My long-winded way of saying I feel like I'm getting solid interest in a way I've never seen before.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's pretty cool to see.
And that makes sense to me because if you think of a mobile app, there's so much pain and suffering and things you
Yeah.
don't know. And
Mm-hmm.
also, you're helping them make more money. Like in any
Yeah.
way where you can, I feel like making more money is more powerful than saving someone time. Like if I had to
Mm-hmm.
pick one or another, be like, my product is only $1,000 a year, but your
Mm-hmm.
upside on this is huge.
Yeah.
So it feels like a really, it feels like there's a lot of potential.
I think that is the next step. It's like once Android is ready, which I haven't even started yet.
Okay.
uh, but once Android is ready, I think the positioning becomes less about like save the time and effort of like getting in the app store and more about like find new customers,
Right.
make more money by
Your
having a
customers live on
presence.
their phone. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like create a more sticky app for your B2B folks. Uh, a more native experience. Like I think that those become the selling points, and it's less about like, oh, like I have a really, I think I'm really good at pitching to folks that have the same problems as me. The App Store is
Hmm.
hard, Xcode is difficult, Swift is a pain in the butt. I can talk to those folks all day.
Hmm.
Those folks are like the folks that maybe don't want to spend a lot of money on things.
Hmm.
I want to talk to the people that have more money and are like, we need to be in the App Store, and we
Yeah.
don't care how it's built.
Yeah.
Like we want App Store presence. We want to start
Right.
selling subscriptions through the App Store. It's like, how do I appeal to those folks? And I think that is either, maybe it's just a landing page, right? Maybe it's just a new landing page that I direct some paid advertising to. But I think it might eventually be a new positioning of Ruby Native. Instead of like, it's now easier to get into the App Store. It's like, you're making money from the App Store.
Right. Yes.
And talk about the benefits of the App Store. And I'm just like a tool to get you there,
Right.
not
That's what I
the
think.
whole product.
Right.
And when I start positioning it like that, a lot of other pieces fall into place of I have a lot of workflows I could build out. Like what if I had a GitHub action that hooks into your Rails code base and just like implements Ruby Native fully for you? What if every time you do a deploy, there's like a check on GitHub that makes sure that you didn't break anything for Ruby Native apps? And you don't have to ever worry about it again and like it flags something, oh, this you deleted this HTML thing that actually is your native tab bar, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I can start to be a platform that is kind of like what Linear is doing, just like totally hands off. It just tells you when you broke something and maybe even fixes it for you, but really it's like fully managed.
Hmm.
And that becomes more obvious once my positioning changes to potentially this new way of thinking about it.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a great plan.
Android first though, I'm totally at the phase where it's like, oh, I could just add more features. I could just add more features.
The
Like I'm working on
danger
adding
zone.
the danger zone. I know it's like totally works. I have apps that are live in the App Store with it, and I'm just like, oh, what if I added this one more feature? And it's like the person I'm pitching that to is already paying me. I don't need to.
Yeah.
I don't need to.
Yeah.
Um, but okay. So you went to some live events. You
I
really got
did.
energized by them. You also sent me a text that was all caps, so many calls without any context. So maybe we could talk about that for a couple minutes.
Oh my goodness.
I'd love to hear what that meant.
So many calls. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so I've been basically taking calls with everyone.
Okay.
And I had this one that was really funny. I had so many last week, but a lot of really good calls. They're mostly at this point, it's a little frustrating because they're mostly discovery, right?
Mm,
These aren't sales calls, these are
yeah.
discovery calls. But like the landscape is crazy. So I got on
Mm.
one what I thought was a discovery call. Like I thought the guy wanted to hire me. And he
Like for
ended up,
client.
yeah, for client work. He like he was like, "Hey, I want to, do X, Y, and Z." And he ended up like completely flipping the script on me and asking me
Mhm.
if I wanted to come work for him. Like it was just
Okay.
like full time, like full time. It's
Whoa.
like a whole
Okay.
so
Interesting.
um yeah, so I don't know. There's been a lot of things are happening, I
Hmm.
guess.
Hmm.
Which is good, but it is also like job offers and
Yeah.
clients and just random chats. It feels very, that whole thing they say about motion versus action?
No. What is that?
You don't?
I don't. Tell
Okay,
me.
let me tell you.
Yes, please.
So there's this big thing. I think it's actually like from James Clear, Atomic Habits, but it's big in
Mhm,
like the bootstrap startup world where you have motion and you have action.
mhm,
So a lot of people, especially in the beginning, like they'll read 10 books or about
mm,
how to start a business, or they'll read all these Twitter threads, or they'll do all these things that make them think they are actually doing the thing they want to be doing,
mhm,
but it's just motion. It's just
mm.
stuff. It's just like a really fancy way of procrastinating versus action, which is actually doing the thing you want to be doing.
I think I know someone like that. I think I know someone
Uh,
like that.
Not me. Are you talking about me?
I
So,
remember a couple of years ago where you were thinking of starting a new business, and you told me of, like, the 6 business books that you read,
oh my gosh.
like,
I
over the
know.
past, like, 2 months or something, and then you were like so I was like, "Okay, cool, so what's your idea?" And you were like, "Well, I don't have an idea yet, I just gotta know how to make a business." Okay, so this I
Yes.
know
So
of
you
this. I didn't know the exact name. Okay,
mhm.
so
And
motion
so you
versus
know
action.
me very well, so you have that
Yes, yes.
context. So the thing I am trying to figure out with all of these calls is like,
Mhm.
are these actually advancing my business? Or are these the
Yeah,
right things to be doing right
sure.
now? Because they
Yeah,
are exhausting. Like
yeah.
they require a fair amount of mental energy and um yeah. So anyway, I don't know. That was my week last week was mostly that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's tough to figure out because a lot of those, especially in the consulting business, it's such a long game
Yes.
with individual clients or potential clients where you talk to someone 6 times over, like, 3 years, and then they pop up
Yes.
in your inbox and they're like, "Oh, so, like, we're finally, we were thinking of this thing and we wanted to hire you for it." And you're like, "Oh, so all of those coffees ended up, you know, playing itself out, but you have no idea who that's gonna be when you
Right.
start it."
Right. And
It makes it
so
tough.
it makes it tough, and I feel like I am so early in this consultancy that
Mhm.
this is the right thing to be doing, but if I'm still
Yeah.
doing this in 6 months, like, if I haven't figured out if I don't have a more clear offer,
Mhm.
maybe 3 months because 'cause I'm 3 months in,
Mhm.
then I think I'm doing something wrong.
Maybe. I wouldn't be so cut and dry on that or hard on yourself, to be honest. Like, I still have those calls with people,
You know?
and I'm 5.5 years into being this totally independent full time. I've been
Yeah.
consulting for like 8 almost at this point. And I think that A, the landscape is always changing, so our businesses have to adopt.
Yeah.
And B, especially for me and the way my brain works, like I need novelty. So if I'm doing the
Yeah.
same exact thing over and over and over again, like I get
That's a
bored
good
of it, I
point.
put in less effort. But perhaps most importantly, like you do need to be changing what you do to advance your career and increase your income.
Yeah.
If I
That's
was
true.
still doing the exact same stuff I was doing 5 years ago, I would not be making like what I made last year.
Yeah.
There's no way I would be. And my offerings have had to change and what I'm interested in and what people want is changing. So I think that part of consulting is having those conversations all the time,
All the
even if they
time.
don't feel worth it in the moment.
Yeah.
So I think that they are always action, to be
Okay,
honest.
good. I'll take it. Good, because I've been doing a lot of them. So that's the
I think
right
that's good.
answer, Joe.
Yeah, I
I
think that
trust you to tell me the truth on
I
this.
think that they are action. Yeah, I think that
Okay.
it's easy to feel like they're not when you're doing a ton of them. And I think the balance is really
Yes.
hard with them. Like you don't want to take 6 a week, right? You want to spread them out
Right.
because you can actually deliver. Uh,
Right.
but I have a policy that is if anyone emails me and asks to take a call on anything, I will always take that call.
Are you
I will
serious?
always give someone 25 minutes of my time, no matter what.
Wow.
Yeah. And unless it's like, a cold email trying to pitch something to
Yeah,
me.
no, but if it's like a real oh,
If it's a real
okay.
email, I will
Okay.
always take that call. And I always like despise myself when the call starts because I'm just
You're
like, "Oh,
like, "Why
I'm in
did
the
I do
zone.
this?"
Why did I do this?" But the amount of times that those calls have led to a consulting or like them buying something of mine or subscribing is very high.
Yeah.
So or like word of mouth, like, "Oh, let me introduce you
I
to
talked to
whoever." Like
Joe.
Joe,
Yeah.
yeah, Joe and I had like 2 calls. They helped me debug this problem over the past couple months. Like here's our CTO, they want to like hire you for something. It's like, oh, great.
Yeah.
So I don't send out my calendar link anymore because that
Yeah.
was too much. But if I have a back and forth with you, I will always, and someone asks for a call,
Wow.
100%, I will give that to them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I do not do that. I say
Yeah.
I can answer questions async. I can't get on a call with you.
Yeah.
um,
I've started doing that when people have asked me why I shut down Rails devs, because I get one of
yeah,
those
because you're
emails every
like,
week and I copy
yeah,
paste the response. But also, like, I've talked about this on like 6 podcasts and I have 3 articles on it. Like, you can, if
right,
you
right. You can
really
figure it
cared, you could
out if
figure it
you
out.
care. Yeah,
Um, so that's the one exception to it. It's that question.
yeah. Fair, fair. So let's see. So anyway, I had a lot of calls last week,
Mm-hmm.
and wait, what else did I want to tell you? I sent my first proposal for the guy who came in cold.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't heard back from him. But it's an
Okay.
interesting, we had talked about this. We talked about the 3 price points, and I ended up doing
Uh-huh.
that.
Huh.
It's interesting as like I'm an independent consultant and I hate asking people for money. Like I
Yeah.
just still hate it, right? It's just still weird. So anyway, I did send that out though, so that's good.
Good. Good. How do you feel about the prices? Were they popcorn pricing or more?
I did 3 like you suggested that were 3 different tiers. And I
Yeah.
priced them high enough that I won't feel bad if he says yes.
Good.
Right?
Good.
But I'll be like,
Yeah.
"Okay, we can actually do this if he says
Yeah.
yes." So yeah, all good
Nice.
things.
Keep us
I'm
posted.
yeah. And then of course the last thing
Mm.
is LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I
You
mean,
sound sad.
I hate LinkedIn, man. It's just they don't show me anything relevant in my feed.
Yeah.
It's just a cesspool over there. It's not even a cesspool. It's just like weird. So
Yeah.
I am trying to continue to do the LinkedIn. I'm out of
Mm-hmm.
ideas. So now I have to figure out how to recycle ideas. Um, but I do want to do I am going to start doing like the whole lead magnet thing on
Yeah.
LinkedIn.
Nice.
Today is Tuesday, so probably this week if I have time. I had such a crazy week last week. I'm trying to like not push quite as hard this week. So yeah, that's the last thing that I'm working on.
I also did the 5 days of LinkedIn last week.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Um,
See, why don't I see this is what I'm talking
you
about.
didn't
Like
even see
how
any of
come
it?
I
That's
didn't see
amazing.
any of it?
Oh my
0 of
God.
it.
That's really funny because one of them had like 130 reactions or whatever.
That's great.
Yeah, which was pretty cool to see. And it's so hard to find your posts on LinkedIn.
Right?
It's
I mean, the whole
it's
thing is
amazing
just so
how hard it is
bad.
to find your posts. Show all. Okay, let's see what we got here. No, not that one. I just want to see what the like content was. Oh, so I posted about owning. How I used to own the Hotwire native niche. Like I used to be the Hotwire native guy, and how I branched out into like a bigger pond into doing mobile apps for Rails businesses,
Okay.
and 5,000 impressions,
That's
which
great.
I think for LinkedIn is
For
really
LinkedIn,
good.
that's
That's
good.
more than my follower count, which is what I kind of judge it on.
Yeah.
Uh, some good discussion in the responses. So I can't tell if that was like, oh, Joe hasn't posted in a while, let's give this a huge boost, or if it
Yeah.
was, okay, people are resonating with this, like, let's do more of this content. But what I've been doing is LinkedIn is like fairly new platform for me. I also have a
Okay.
ton of content that exists on my blog, on my newsletter for the past decade,
Yeah,
right?
say forever.
Yeah.
Right?
I also have a direct. So here's my flow for content for LinkedIn right now.
Mhm.
I open up a Claude session in the directory,
Mhm.
and in that directory I have a subdirectory called newsletter, and it's a markdown file of every single newsletter I ever published on
Mhm.
Substack or my old. I have a subdirectory called blog, which is all the markdown files of my blog, and then I have podcast. I think it's called podcasts, and it's all the transcripts of any podcast I've ever been on, including this one.
Okay.
And I essentially ask Claude, like, okay, pull out some ideas that I've talked about that I haven't, like, give me like 10 ideas of stuff that I've talked about over the years. And once I have those ideas, I then create the post myself and
Mhm.
add it to a list for Claude to know not to like suggest it again for LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And I think that this is valid for LinkedIn because it's a platform that is new to me, where like my audience there hasn't heard these things before,
Yeah.
versus like just regurgitating content on X or on Substack. So it's pulled out some really interesting things, especially things that I've like only talked about once or twice like a year ago that I've
Okay.
forgotten that are
Yeah.
still relevant. And
Yeah.
it's really good for idea generation. Having Claude write the posts has been terrible. I do not
Terrible.
recommend that. Like I need to write the
Yeah.
post myself and maybe have Claude do a LinkedIn pass over it. But for generating ideas based on my own words
Ideas.
has been really has been really helpful in like getting the juices flowing.
That's great. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So I haven't been enjoying it, but it's been working.
It's been working. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
That's good. Good.
Speaking of, last week I was trying to do videos for Ruby
That's
Native.
right. For Ruby Native. Yep.
I was trying to do a video and I was like, we were talking about hiring an editor, hiring a producer, and I was in ScreenFlow, but I was also in that code tool, Remotion.
Remotion. Yes.
Yeah. And
Is
it
it?
was a disaster because Remotion, if you're having Claude do Remotion stuff, it's like they're doing they're just doing design the whole time. and Claude is not good at design. And there's probably like
Yeah.
skills and it's probably a skill issue for me, but I was just not having luck with Remotion and Claude at all. Also the
Okay.
feedback loop was very slow.
Okay.
So instead, I I did a screen recording myself where I
Okay.
just like took out my phone and I like tapped on my phone and recorded that with QuickTime,
Yep.
threw that into ScreenFlow, and then
Okay.
put a frame around it so it looked like a device.
Okay. Yep.
And then I did a voiceover on top of it.
Okay. Nice.
And I created like a 40-second video of a demo of the app that I've built with Ruby Native.
Okay.
So it was kind of like a promotion for the app itself. And essentially at the end of it, I was like, oh, and by the way, I didn't write a single line of native code for this.
Yeah.
And it still took like 2-3 hours to
Okay.
do, but the core content was looking at an iPhone screen, not code snippets and my head or anything like that. And it worked a lot better.
Yeah.
I am curious to see how it goes. I think it went out yesterday. I'm curious to see how it converts because it's like it's pretty amateurish. That's the wrong
I
word.
was about
It's
to say that
polished,
Yeah.
but it's not like professional, I guess is what I'm
Okay.
trying to say.
Okay.
So it's not sloppy, but
Yeah.
it's not like there's no bangs or wows or like you're not like amazed by it. Like, I'm trying to say like, when someone's like, oh, make the logo pop. It doesn't have any pop, right?
Yeah.
It's just like, here's an indie developer building something cool and here's what it does. And I think that fits my vibe a little bit better for this,
Yeah.
but it again proves how much I need to hire a video editor to do like a real launch for
Mhm.
Ruby Native and a 30-second, 15-second video slices for socials that I can just reuse for everything because I posted it to Reddit and Reddit adds subtitles across the bottom that you can't turn off. And that just hid the whole native
Whole
tab
thing.
bar at the bottom.
Yeah.
And someone replied and was like, you got to turn off subtitles. And I was like, I can't. Reddit won't let me.
Yeah.
So just learning all of this stuff that I like don't really care about, but is needed to do video that I kind of want to just outsource still.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm supportive. That
Yeah.
sounds great. Also, the
Yeah.
demo video, I'm sure it's great.
It looks good. I think it looks
Yeah.
good. Like for
I
what
like that strategy.
yeah, and the voiceover without a talking head was nice because I could do multiple takes as I watched. I
Yeah.
sped up parts, I slowed down parts, which is really easy in ScreenFlow.
Yeah.
Because it was on my device, it actually did like the native in-app purchase flow and the native authentication with Apple flow that you can't get in the
Nice.
simulator. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Ruby Native is like officially launched now for iOS, which
Yay,
is cool.
That's exciting.
Yeah, and I still have to do the final, or not the final, but like the last. Hey, newsletter subscribers, like Ruby Native is gonna go up in pricing because this is like the introductory. Like, here's your coupon code for the last chance before Android comes out, and I need to figure out a strategy for that without making folks feel like they are gonna miss out or anything. So that's next.
Okay.
Yeah. and then
That
Android.
sounds yeah, and then Android. That sounds like all good updates.
All good updates. Yeah. The consulting business is still rough right now. Not
Still a little slow?
pipeline is pretty dry.
Okay.
Um, the folks I'm working with has been awesome. Are awesome, but they're coming to an end at the end of, I think, May.
Okay.
So I still have many months left where I need to find I need to still find like a big client, like
Yeah.
like a big high five figures client to make this year a success. And it's only April, but it's the end of April, so like still pretty down on that. And I'm not really sure. It's just been really hard to like get leads.
Yeah.
And this is normally right around the time every year where that cycle ends and leads start coming in, and it
Okay.
hasn't yet, and I'm
Okay.
getting a little worried about that.
Okay.
So hopefully I'm singing a different tune next week or the following week, but right now it's not great
Hmm.
consulting wise.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, keep us posted.
we'll do. We'll end on that note. Hopefully
No,
everyone's feeling.
I feel like we can't end on that note.
Tell me
Okay.
one exciting thing you have going on this week.
Well, oh, my MCP server for Google Ads is totally working, and I'm kind of
Cool.
obsessed with it. It's really
Okay.
cool. And
Yeah.
it's fun because I'm running like a bunch of search marketers have put out skills on how to do paid ads. So I'm
Nice.
running Google's recommendations against these paid search marketers' recommendations, and it's fascinating.
Are they fighting? Like, are they
Yeah,
different?
yeah. Google's basically
Interesting.
like, you should do this, this, and this. And then,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not working with these people directly, but the skills they've pushed out are basically like, actually, Google is lying to you because they want you
Whoa.
to spend more money. I'm like,
Oh,
sweet.
that's fascinating. So it's not even like your design direction should look like this. They're saying like you should
No.
optimize in this way.
Yeah. So Google is
Mm.
saying, yeah, like I can give you an example. So Google's saying, um, raise budget. And then
Uh-huh.
my search marketer skill is like, no, optimization score will push this. And then Google says, switch to maximize conversions. And my search marketer says no and gives me a reason. So it's super interesting to
Interesting.
see that.
That is
Yeah,
interesting.
it's been kind of fun. I don't have enough personal experience with ads to know who's right, which is
Sure.
the only problem here. But
Yeah. Yeah.
it's been fun.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah. Ads are hopefully I'm talking to you soon because I have some money to spend
Yeah.
on some
Yeah.
Ruby
Yeah.
native ads.
We
I
should
think so I'd love to talk about that and doing like a live. I think that doing some sort of like live stream could be fun
for what?
for setting up ads and like getting me going on ads and talking through, or just like working through something that you're really good at and teaching me over
Oh, yeah,
live
that would
stream
be
could be
super
fun.
fun. I
Yeah.
really want to use my MCP server to create ads because it can theoretically create ads, but I don't
Mm.
have any one that needs to have ads created. So
Okay.
I
Okay.
would love to like create it and then we could look at it. It'd be fun.
Yeah.
I'd be down.
That'd be cool. It does the what are they called, the design too, like the.
Well, Google search ads are just text, just the text ads,
Oh.
not the well, you can have images. It's a whole thing. It depends on what kind of ads you want to run is the
Yeah.
correct.
Fair.
There's different kinds of ads, so it depends on
Yeah.
what kinds of ads you want to run.
Okay. Let me think about that because that could be interesting if it's text. Like I'm always worried about creating the assets, like the images and
Yeah.
stuff. But if it's text, like I can optimize text all day.
Yeah. So
Okay. Let's maybe figure something out. That'd be fun.
that would be fun.
All right.
Okay.
That's a better note to end on.
Now you can go. Now I shall release you.
Alrighty. I'll see you next
Oh,
week, Colleen.
all right.
For everyone listening, you can get show notes and old episodes on nopermission.fm. And if you have any feedback or questions about the show, feel free to email us. Both of our emails are on that website. Bye, everyone.
Bye.